What's up, everybody? It's me again, and it's time to lean in, bitch. It is time for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Episode 6 or 5, is it? I don't know the episode right now, but whatever it is, we're
5.
going to lean in because we have a lot to talk about. As you can see, somebody is back. Now, there has only been 2 people has ever returned to the lean more than once, and that is my friend Jamie. So, welcome back, Jamie.
Hey, Cortez, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you.
People.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, the feedback was very positive, and I was just like, I want to do it again. Like, I had a good time with you. We really got into some things like we're gonna do today, and so I hope you're ready. Cause, like I said, I didn't recap
I'm
the previous
ready.
episode, but I want to talk a little bit about that one and then go into this one too. So, if you're ready, I'm ready.
I got my bottle glass, excuse me, of wine. I
Okay,
can't get
child.
as drunk as we got last time.
I listen. It is what time is it? It is 1:11 here in LA, and I wasn't gonna make a drink, but I went ahead and made a quick little drink with a little Jack in it. So
There we
I
go.
still got so many things to do. But anyway, so with Potomac, I'm not Potomac, child. With Salt Lake City, we're
It's a
doing
lot
too many.
happening. A
I'm
lot
doing too many
happening.
of these recaps right now. It's been really interesting, as we have said. This is their 5th episode, going into the 6th. The last time you and I were together, we talked about it, and it was leading into what's her name, Whitney's party, and we saw that it was a preview of our girl or somebody's girl, Jen, spazzing out. Now, in the previous episode, she spazzed out, child. She was mad at Meredith because, she went to church. I don't know why anybody would be mad at Meredith. Anybody going to church, child. But, she was mad. And in the process, she blurted out that, why would you want to go with Mary, who fucks her grandpa? Now, initially, I get where it's wrong, but you can't tell me that Mary has not heard that before. I mean, you would think the way
Yeah.
she was acting, you would think it was like it was the first time ever said in her life. And with that, do you think it was a wrong statement? Do you think it was what were your thoughts?
Jen, I think that it was a really, really shady and kind of an uncalled for statement.
Yeah,
She was grasping at straws. She's the kind of girl, and you can tell she's very much like Kelly Dodd from OC, where the minute that she feels like she's being wronged, her mouth just opens and she doesn't give 2 shits about what
yeah,
comes out of it. And for her to fly off like that, I
yeah.
was like, oh, this girl, she is not one you want to have get on her bad side because she doesn't give a shit about loyalties, about decorum, about anything. She will say to cut down to like the white meat. She will
And
cut you deep.
And how do you feel about her towards Meredith? Because I like Meredith. So I'm like very
Oh, I love
protective of
Meredith
her. I'm like, don't do her like that because I like her.
at all. I love Meredith. I think if you call somebody a friend, the way that she blew up on Meredith at Whitney's party, it leads me to believe like how strong is your friendship? Because I mean, you and I have had, probably situations where a friend did something and I don't feel like it's ever escalated that way to where right off the bat you were immediately screaming at a friend and saying all
Yeah.
these horrible things. Like, and you can tell that Meredith was completely sidelined in the fact that she cut that shit short after what, 3 minutes and was like, all right, you know what? This
She
is
was
not
like,
being productive. I'm going to go
I'm
ahead
not.
and
I don't do
I'm going to
this.
go. I'm not doing it. This is
Yeah.
foolish. And I think that pissed off Jen even more because Jen thrives off of reactions from people. So she can make herself look like she's in the right. If you
Yeah.
don't feed her that energy, she has nowhere to go.
I
She's a
agree.
mess.
Jen is a mess. And I found it very interesting for me because the girls they all cater to Jen. And I really like Lisa was over there talking to her and but she felt like obviously that she had said something wrong, when she blurted out about Mary. Whitney went over there. She felt the need to go over there because she didn't want to seem like a bad friend. But I feel like they're all enablers. Like Jen,
Mm.
for the type of person she is, she gets so much attention from everywhere. And it's so unfortunate when she doesn't get her way, she clearly blurts out. Just like when, later in the episode, the previous episode, she was talking about, she spilled the beans that Meredith was separated, which was like some confidential
Hmm.
information. And she even said in her confessional, she did it because, like, in spite, like she was doing it to get back.
Yep.
And so I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not cute. Like, as Needy and
Yeah.
Cynthia, nobody likes a Mayday. Okay, when you beefing with your friends, Mayday is never cute. Especially if you can, literally say, "Oh, I did it because like that's messy," and so it makes me question her character. Like, I don't think any of these women are her friends. The only person that I feel like is her
Oh yeah.
close friend is Heather, and that's because Heather just is her little mink dog. Like, she gonna do whatever and say
Hmm.
whatever Jen say. So, um, later on in the episode, we'll fast forward past everything else. Mary, our girl, sister Mary, auntie sister Mary, sister Clark, sister number 2, 3, 4. Mary is having a Met Gala event, and she's having it in her home.
Can we
Okay,
can
go
we can
ahead.
we talk
Go ahead.
about this theme?
Go ahead. Go
Met Gala is not a
ahead.
theme. Met Gala is not a theme. Met Gala is an event that has themes.
That's what Heather said. But I got it.
See, she
I
is what when Heather said that.
I understood that because
I
I
understood what Heather
almost
said. Like,
had a
mm.
Met Gala themed event. Okay, um, once before, so I was like, okay, look, get off Mary because I was almost there.
It's like God. She wanted a reason to get people together and dress up. Now I will say she knows how to fucking throw an event. Like
Yeah,
she knows how to cater to her guests.
yeah.
Those gifts and the place settings
Oh
and
yes, I want
just
one.
the thought that went into it.
Yeah.
Mary knows how to. It's unfortunate that she doesn't have that level of detail to her own house decor because that's all over the fucking place.
It is all over the place, and I think she has. I think she's getting a lot of a lot of feedback and like commentary about that. Because if you go to her Instagram now, she's like posting her house and saying like how she loves her eclectic style. I'm like, girl, that's not eclectic, honey. That is a mess.
At
But
all. Tacky.
right.
It's tacky.
Um. So the purpose of the event is to get everybody together, and I think initially she probably didn't want to invite Jen, but she did. So and this is the last part of the episode. They are basically at the table. Jen shows up late. She always makes a grand entrance. Whatever. Now, the conversation goes a little left, or it's going okay. Jen is kind of telling you how she is as a person when she's upset with you. This is how she reacts, and she goes into giving an apology to Meredith. And I think the issue came about with that because there was somebody else at the table that felt like they wanted an apology, and that's our sister auntie Clark Mary.
Sister Mary Clark.
Sister Mary Clark, if you
And
see it.
Jen was saying a whole lot of nothing.
I agree.
Like Jen was making a lot of excuses. Like, sis, you ain't gonna blame your reckless ass mouth on your daddy not hugging you enough, or you being the
Yeah.
oldest. Like the fuck. Like it
Then
sounds
she
like your
talk
dad was a
about
very
her
hardworking, loving man.
eggs. Then she said something
She
about the
says,
fact,
I'm an immigrant and we had to work hard. And I was like, so you're a bitch because of that? A whole
girl.
lot of nothing. Mary, the thing that I did not like that Mary did was like, you could tell the only reason Mary brought that subject up because she wanted an apology for herself.
Okay.
And in my mind, I'm like, Mary, why don't you just be direct and
Yeah.
say, hey, before we get going, can we please address this? Because I want us to get on good terms.
Yeah.
And when Mary realized that she was not going to get the apology that she wanted, she set fire to the rain.
That little argument, Mary's tone is always so here. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't really. The most she does is her face gets all moving all crazy and spastic.
Mm-hmm.
But in her wig shifts. Because like I said, in this scene, the more she grew upset, the more her wig started to shift. The wig was a damn exorcist. It was moving, honey, and I was just like, oh my god, it's about to slide off. But she got
She was
upset,
getting upset.
and I think what really got her upset was that you know Jen was telling her like, don't do your eyes like that at me and stuff like that. I'm like, first of all, Jen, who are you? Like, you're in somebody else's house. Let's start there. Let's go back to the fact
Let's
that
start
you're in
there.
somebody else's house and you can. I understand a confrontation and argument, but you're not going to tell me not to do anything if you're sitting at my dinner table or if you're under my roof. Period. So
Mm.
I felt Miriam when she
Well,
said,
we
"Get
know
out."
she doesn't know how to act in people's houses.
She does clearly.
She don't know how to act in Meredith's house.
Right. So, like, what were your thoughts on that whole back and forth the exchange and she getting kicked out and the girls running behind her, Heather getting involved? Like, Heather, shut up. Like, what were your thoughts?
Jen was just, I feel like Jen was pussyfooting and doing her whole spiel of crying and all that because she knew it was going to piss off Mary. She was waiting for Mary to say something to her so
Mm-hmm.
she could incite conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Mary was waiting for an apology that was never going to come. That pissed
Never.
her off. This would
Never.
have been better served if somebody had like mediated and said, there's an elephant in the room. Can we just go ahead and talk about this before we enjoy our lunch? Let's get
Yep.
this out of the way and then enjoy the rest of the day. But in true reality TV fashion, nobody's going to do that.
Right.
Jen started off in the wrong
Yeah.
by immediately snipping at Mary because I understood where Mary was coming from. Mary was saying all of these excuses doesn't excuse your behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Mary all of a sudden went left, and I did not understand
Well,
why she was lashing out at everybody.
you know what? What I never remember. She said that what did she say? Mary said that I would never say the things that you would say. Is what it was.
Yes.
That's what triggered her because Mary.
Yes.
At that moment I was like, okay, Mary, because I think Jen had said
Mary called her gutter, or she called her gutter, and
she
her
called her
mouth is gutter,
hood,
something
ghetto,
like that.
or something.
Hood rat. She said I wouldn't say the things that you say, and then of course Mary being the strong, or Jen
Yeah.
being the strong black woman that she
Yeah.
is,
Jen,
did
right.
not take any of that.
Strong black single woman that can do bad by herself. That is Jen. Okay, she need to go be in a Tyler
Sister
Perry movie because
Sister
she
Soldier.
is advocating like no other. Like no other.
If that was a little bit of a reach. That was a little bit of a reach. Like she immediately was like, "What do you mean? Are you equating blah blah blah?" And I'm like, "Girl, it's obviously Mary grew up with a little bit of money. That's a figure of speech with anybody.
Yeah.
It's I get it. You're trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. But then
Yeah.
it just continued, and Mary was calling Whitney two-faced, and that she talks out of both sides of her faces, and then she was telling. She called Whitney the 30-year-old, said she's too young to understand. Then she called Heather
So
two-faced.
she was upset. So let me say this. So Mary, I think Mary felt not isolated, but I feel like she felt alone in that argument. Because I feel like although they were going back and forth, it was clear that everybody was siding with Jen. Like nobody was.
I think they were trying to keep the peace. They were trying to be like, it's okay, calm down. Let's just keep talking. And Mary took it as you're taking her side and she's dead wrong.
Of course, and I think she made a
And
comment. She was just like talk to her, don't talk something like that. When Heather got it, Heather does that, and Heather needs to stop because Heather clearly is not one for confrontation. And I mean,
Heather's such a mom, though. She's such a mom. She wants to fix it. She wants to jump in and be like, well, no, let's do this, and like do it like mom does. And she's like, one, I'm not your child, so you don't have to mediate anything with me. It's okay.
Yeah. And Mary, she just it escalated. Even with Whitney, I was like, "That's your friend." She was like, "Oh, you're 30 years old. You don't know." And I was like, "But listen, I have been there."
But Whitney got her.
Whitney did get her.
Whitney got her that confessional when she said, "I may be 30, but you are old as how old you are, acting like a goddamn teenager." So
yeah,
I'm good with it.
When she said
they both needed to get that out. Mary needed to get that out.
Mary needed to get that out, and honestly, Mary should just kick her out and told her not to come back in the house. Okay, if I tell you to get out of my house, get out of my house. Do not come back trying to talk to me, because then I'm gonna be.
That's what get knives pulled on people.
Because then I'm gonna have a knife, and I'm telling you to get out of my house. Okay, so don't come back in my house. I don't care what we filming. Get out of my house. You're out. She said, "What are you gonna do? Whip my butt?"
Oh. Yeah,
that's what she was
she's
acting
such a
like.
Christian lady too when she fights.
She is.
She's such a Christian lady when she fights but she doesn't cuss. She doesn't scream. It's very much still restrained.
Very much so.
Very much still that. And I think her inability to let other people talk shows that she's used to being an authority. Yeah. She's used to being the one in charge. Judging Grandpa, he probably lets Mary call all the shots and do whatever because it's her empire. It's her church. It's her this. Even with the son who said very much, I don't want to go to a boarding school. She goes, okay, well, we're both in agreement that you're going to a different school. Like, she very much is used to just, and that's probably the women that she grew up with. Mm-hmm. Grandma was head of a church, so that's what she saw modeled. Mm-hmm. Mary gets frustrated when she can't do that. Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Now, one thing, I feel like this is probably going to be a very, I can't think of the word right now, a very big moment for Mary, to where it was controversial moment for Mary when it came about that I guess Jen said she made a comment about going to 7-Eleven but seeing black people and going away, turning away. Um, I that comment, like I said, this Jen, the strong black woman that can do bad by herself. Um, to me, it's a reach. I get what she's trying to do, but let's not sit here and act like Mary's not in this Pentecostal church with all these black
Mm-hmm.
people all the time. Like, I understand what she was trying to say, and I understand that you have children that are mixed with black, and you have a husband that's mixed. You are not black. Now, the thing is, Jen thinks she's black. She said it in the first episode that in
Well,
this town
well,
she is
people
black.
think she's black.
Well,
People think she's
and it
black.
has gone to her head, but no,
I want to know who. I want to know what people.
yeah, I don't know.
Because nobody I know.
So what do you think about that situation and what? Because this is gonna be big for Mary. Like, I'm sure it'll come back up.
Yeah.
It'll go throughout the season, and like, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's you have to take it as at face value with Jen.
Yeah,
Like, how was it presented?
Yeah.
How was it presented to you? How did Mary say it? What was the context?
Yeah.
Because you and I both know, even in the Latino community, and I'm sure in the Black community, when you get to a certain level of success, your little comments of like, "Ooh, I stay away from people like that." I remember growing up, and my grandmother always warned, "Don't go around, other Mexicans that are druggies or that are on the streets or hoodlums. We're going to go to another store. We're not going to be around here." And when I heard that, I thought of it in that context.
Yeah.
Because Mary seems like the kind of woman that she's a little uppity.
Yeah.
She's a little hoity-toity.
Yeah.
I don't think she's racist, but she definitely is dealing with some
Yeah.
level of like classism there,
Yeah.
which in itself, it's still kind of a shitty thing. But when Mary presented it, or excuse me, when Jen presented it, it was this huge bombshell of Mary doesn't like black people.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
and I was
girl,
like, come on now, like, she said it and
You're
she
reaching.
admitted to saying it, but you're trying to make it seem like you are like she's against black people and you so much more for black people than she is. And I'm like, I get it. Like, you are married to
Yeah.
a black man, which now you have black individuals and nieces and whatever. But girl, you ain't black. You're not black. So
Well, the fact that Mary didn't deny it shows that in Mary's mind, she knew the context of what she was saying. She was just like, okay, what's your point?
right.
She knew, yeah, I did say it. I'm not trying to gloss that over, trying to whatever. I don't know how you took that, but it obviously is not the way that I wanted.
Yeah.
And this is why I like Mary, because Mary sees these little, obviously these stunts and shows that people like Jen put on,
Yeah.
and Mary will gloss right over it. I'm
Yeah.
not addressing it. We're just
Yeah.
moving right along. I say what I need to say, and we can
What does
go.
Mary have to prove to Jen
Nothing.
in this topic? Like, come on now. What does she have to prove? Like, why, Jen, simmer down? It's, to me, we all do it, like you said. You remember the whole infamous line, "Woo, child, the ghetto." I mean, that is an example of it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. So Mary, I think what I think Mary meant, what she meant by it was that, if she pulls up to 7-Eleven, that it wasn't just black people, anybody. Because if I go to 7-Eleven, which I rarely go, because it's always a homeless person up there here in California, I'm gonna probably go the other way too. Like, I've done that. If I see, I'm like, I'm gonna go this way because I don't want no problems. Sometimes you gotta protect yourself before something even happens. I mean, that's
Yeah.
So I see people online saying that she's anti-black. I don't think she's anti-black at all. And I think Jen, I mean, it's no such thing as being too pro-black, but Jesus, girl, I mean, we get it. You got black pain inside of you and black in your family. We get it.
It's almost, and I can't remember if it was the exact words or something that she said when she was insinuating. It was almost like, I may not be black, but I'm a better black person than you, Mary. It's just like the tone of her voice. No, she didn't say that. It was the tone, because Mary said, I said that I'm black. I don't have to explain anything to you or
really
something like that. And it was the tone of, oh, are you black or something? It was like, or you're black, I don't have to tell you that. And it's that insinuation that I was like, girl, this is going to be a problem with you, because I can see now this is the narrative that you have in your head, or that you've taken this opportunity now and you're going to try to run with it. And it's not going to be a good look at all.
Jen is trying to take Mary's black card. Like, you know how we black people be like, give me your black card. You don't know this movie? That's what Jen's trying to do to Mary.
Yeah.
Give me your black card, Mary. You ain't black. That's what I get from it. So
And Mary is giving it nothing. She's paying
Mary's
it.
like, girl,
which is
I
good
don't.
for her. Good for you,
So
Mary.
when they moved into a later scene with their husbands, they were telling the story, and it's the first time we seen Mary cry. You know, she was crying about it,
Yeah.
and I just don't believe she has never heard this before. I mean, she don't even say the word. She was like, "You mf'er," would you say mf'er your grandpa? I'm just like, she refused to say the damn word. Say motherfucker.
No, she's saved. She's
She is
saved.
definitely a saved
She's good
woman.
and saved.
But her husband is just like, he's supportive, and he's just listening to her talk. And like, what do you get from her husband? Because we've seen this the second time now. So what do you think of her husband, aka step grandpa? And well, go ahead.
Oof. One, I want to start about some stuff that I've been hearing through the grapevine, that
Mm-hmm.
the situation that Mary is presenting on TV is not the situation that is actually happening in real life. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason Mary doesn't talk to her mother is not because the mother wanted the church, is because the mother doesn't like that Mary is perpetrating like she married her grandfather for the grandmother's wishes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is stuff that's coming up in the blogs
I've
and
seen
ex-church
I've seen
members
some
and stuff
stuff.
that are coming.
I seen an
So it's
exclusive interview,
interesting
and I
to
was like,
see.
ooh,
Yeah, it's interesting to see their dynamic, which he doesn't come across as a husband. Their
mm-hmm.
relationship doesn't come across as husband and wife to me in any way, shape, or form. He's still very much just like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's there was literally like no level of comforting there,
Yeah,
no level of I'm sorry, no level of anything. He was just like, okay, like that was it.
yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be interesting to see that as the season progresses and once the reunion comes up. I have a feeling if too much is being explored in this, Mary may not be back for a next season because I
That's true.
cannot foresee her having all these skeletons and either, I mean, risk losing the
Yeah,
church for a reality show that it doesn't seem like she's built for the drama. She's great
that's
by
true.
herself with her individual friends. For the drama, she doesn't know
Yeah.
how to do it
I don't think
at
she.
all.
I don't think she doesn't know how to do it. I just think that the way she does it is not what we're used to. She's not going to get loud, and she's not going to do anything. She's going to, see. You know how we say we unbothered, but we're not really unbothered. Well, Mary is truly unbothered, and I think
Truly
that that's
unbothered.
that's really all it is. Like she's just like, I don't have time for this girl. What are you gonna do? Whip my
Well,
butt?
also, her and Jen weren't friends.
Well, Jen, but
Her
no,
and Jen
Jen makes
weren't
it seem
friends
like they
before
were
this.
friends. She makes it seem like she liked her. I'm like, something's not adding up. Like,
Y'all are acquaintances
yeah,
because Mary don't acknowledge you.
she don't.
Barely.
She don't. Uh, and then poor Jen's
But
husband,
it's
child.
interesting.
Jen's husband, I honestly, I know we said Jamal lives in the phone. Her husband definitely lives in the phone. But he just be listening to her talk, and I think she was like, so and so, I fucked them up. He was like, no, you're not. She was like, I will. She was like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
Like, girl, Jen, shut up, or you get popped in these puffed up lips. Girl, be
These
quiet.
okay. It I Jen just she's draining. She's so draining,
Yeah,
and it's unfortunately she's very very good television.
she
So
is.
when you're good
She's a
TV and you get
mess. When you're a
rewarded for these
mess,
draining antics,
when you're a
you're gonna
mess,
turn it up.
exactly. I agree.
Oh,
Well, let's move on. Let's not talk about Jen and Mary. Let's move on. Let's move on to another
look, I'm
topic.
exhausted.
I know, child. Let's talk about one of my favorites, Meredith. And, we know that her and her husband are separated. And in this episode, she is picking up her. Well, let's go back to just saying that she's okay with Jen now. She was
Yeah,
above all of that. No one wants to argue with Jen. And obviously, that's the problem. Meredith was like, I'm not going to do this. But moving forward in her storyline, she's picking up her husband from the airport because he obviously is working in Ohio and somewhere else, I believe.
I can't remember to be. I think did they say
It was
LA?
two places. No, it was two places.
Two
But
places because
he's
he's hardly ever in Salt Lake for work.
correct. He's there. And so at this point, we find out that he's actually basically relocating there or trying to relocate there. And he wants her to come, but she doesn't want to. She wants to be here. Now, mind
Yeah,
you, I caught the tea back episodes ago that he's still in this relationship, this marriage. Meredith she don't want out, but she just wants to do what she want to do. She want her little high young thing, in my opinion. or
Yeah.
something, or just some free fun time. Like,
Yep.
what are your thoughts on just these two and just how they're seen? Because I like glanced from the TV and like glanced back and they had like this sad music playing. So I'm like, what didn't happen, child? So I had to go back.
I was not as perceptive as you were a couple episodes ago. I genuinely thought from that dinner that they had, I think, what, in episode 2, where they were talking about their separation, I thought that he was the one that was just kind of like over it, talking about if I want to look through your phone, and I didn't really catch that, but looking at it now, I see something going on where he's like wanting to see why she's so disconnected. She's crying or whatever. And so I thought that she was the one that was completely blindsided. And then in this episode, we see that he's essentially saying, like, I want you to move with me. How can we stay married and work things out when you're not? How can you be my wife in a different city? And she was just like, I don't want to move. So I was like, oh, this man, like, he wants to make it work. And so
He does.
so they're not the ones that own Meredith doesn't do anything, right? Like, I'm for work. Like, she doesn't work,
I don't
correct?
think
So I was a
so.
little bit confused
Or does
on
she
why
have
she
a?
wouldn't want to relocate.
She doesn't have like a something with fashion. She does something with fashion, like a stylist or something like
That's a
that.
little
She does something with
that's a little
styling.
gay son.
Oh, that's him. I don't know, child. Well, then I
That's
guess
Miss
she don't
Brooks.
do
I don't know.
nothing.
Either way, I mean, she's a kept woman. I think that, like you said, he's been traveling for work so much, and I think Meredith has these relationships with her kids that
Yeah.
they are like her friends, and
Yep.
she's essentially been living a single woman who has a good relationship with her kids now.
Yeah.
I really don't think she's too pressed to be married.
Mm-mm.
I really don't.
She's not.
It's sad because that little scene was him basically like, I really want you to move. And she's like, well, I don't want to leave. And he was just like, all right, I'm gone. And she, okay,
He
like,
picked up
I
his
don't know.
luggage,
I
child.
feel bad for them, but
He gave his little luggage and he just
I give
screwed
it to
on
her.
out.
If she's ending a marriage on her own terms, good for you. Because too many times we see the woman, like in what's Heather's case, the woman being left and she's
Yeah.
heartbroken, and how do I put my life back together? And Meredith is this one that's like, I'm okay, I'm good. I know it's time for us to do something, and I'm just really not interested in putting forth any effort and trying to fix it. So good for you, Miss Girl. Now,
Exactly.
I'm interested to see what brought her there, because that may come out in a couple more episodes. Like, I want to know what tea is. Like, how did you get to this
They
point where you don't give a
raised
fuck?
over it in the past, but I guess we'll find out because that's obviously her solo storyline outside of the girls. So I guess we'll just find out. Our other solo storylines, Whitney and her father. So we saw her father at church, child. He was
Yeah,
good, and
he was feeling it.
clearly, apparently he went away and almost like relapsed and things like that. So in this episode, she's taking him to some facility, and I don't know. I mean, this Whitney, I like Whitney. I like her support for her father, and I hope that he gets to a place where he's better. But I don't know. Like, what do you? I really don't. I I can't. I can't relate.
I
I can't.
thought it's. I mean, you can. She's the only child from him, correct? Because she talked with the brother or her stepbrother, who was the child from his mama. So I can get she's an only child and that's her dad. Her mom, I don't remember the mom. Her biological mother is passed, correct?
I don't know
Or are they
actually.
just divorced?
I thought they were just. I didn't. I don't
I
recall
mean, I
her
don't
saying
know.
that he was. She. I know that she is no longer talking to the husband. So, or
Yeah.
the
Well,
father, or
and
whatever.
the stepmama, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
She definitely gives me only child like syndrome. Like I appreciate her loyalty to her dad, even her like apologizing on his behalf to her stepbrother. Like, I get why you guys cut us off. Thank y'all for understanding. Thank y'all for being here for me. I thought that was a really sweet moment to see kind of like that reconciliation. But like, I like her a lot. I like her energy. She's very carefree. You can tell that she's very freely giving with her time and her energy. And I just hope that this doesn't turn out to be one of those long, drawn-out situations where we see a parent that's just consistently like over and over and over and over again,
And that's
knowing
right.
that their
That's what
child's
I.
going to be there
That's
for
what I
everything.
don't want to see. I mean, I don't. To be honest, I really don't. I hope he gets better or does better, but I don't want to see that.
Because I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. If at first, like I know you and I talked about, like, oh, it's so good that he's coming forth with an addiction on TV. It's to help other people. But I don't know. I felt something in my spirit this episode with him saying almost relapse. It's like, if you are so soon in your sobriety, shouldn't like your sobriety be the number one priority? Like, why are you now appearing on 3 different episodes of a reality show documenting stuff? Like, it's something just doesn't, like, that doesn't sit right with me. Like, you should be going to a facility long ago and then come out of it and then talk about your story. But like,
Yeah.
to actively be involved in this, like that, it seems very opportunistic for me. And I don't think Whitney is catching on to that. Like, I don't know.
Well, she's
I
supporting
want to be
him.
proved wrong.
She seems very happy for him, and I just hope that he gets better. Hope he don't, relapse again, child. 'Cause I'm sure that's stressful. I guess we'll end on just the last scene. I believe it was Heather and Mary. So we've never seen them one on one, and it goes.
Mary,
it
yeah.
kind of ties into what you said earlier about the whole Mary allegation. So Mary is making it very known that her and her husband, they were never biological blood. That was not her biological blood grandfather. Okay, but
Yeah.
that's what it is. So I have also seen those rumors, the rumors you talked about, and I don't really know them. I don't know what the truth is. We will find out. I just hope she is as authentic as she is appearing to be, because I enjoy her. And I wonder
enjoy
what
her.
Heather is going to do with this information, because she clearly has loyalty to Jen. Hell, Jen may get mad at her for going to meet with Mary Chad. I don't even know. She may tell
Jen gonna blow
her,
up
bitch,
again."
vote.
Look, I was a little shocked that they sat down at that conversation and Mary didn't even acknowledge that she just called Heather two-faced at the dinner.
Mary was
She didn't
upset.
apologize. She didn't
Mary
say.
was upset.
She didn't say. But you know what? You can tell that that's a genuine friendship, because Heather like understood. Heather didn't bring it up, because you see on these reality shows that like that's your little ticket, and I'm gonna make this
That's the first thing you want to bring up.
a big drama. One of them mentioned it, but I'm like, yeah. Neither one of them mentioned it, and I'm like, you go get an apology, or Mary just called you two-faced on TV.
Two-Face,
but I don't know.
Two-Face is a lot. But for me, if somebody called me Two-Face, I'm like, bitch, what you mean? But to her, she might be like, Heather, she's not confrontational. She's not. It's not in her way.
She
to
understood
be like
what
that.
Mary was trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
I
plays the
will
fence.
like, because I think the last time that you and I talked, the last time we spoke, we talked about how we were concerned about Meredith being like so tied to her, or excuse me, Heather being so tied to Mormonism with her divorce and stuff. It was good this episode for her to blatantly say, my daughter has been dating this boyfriend and I really don't care what Mormon rules say. I trust my daughter and I want her to be happy with this guy, and I like this guy. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
there's
he
hope
pulled
for
up
you.
in
Good for
pulled up
you.
in a Porsche, and was it a Porsche?
It was loud. What? I don't know. It was
said,
loud as
what
shit.
I thought, look. She loves her daughters, and I think she wants to let them be who they want to be, which is great, because she clearly
her whole daughter.
Right, her whole daughter. She wants them to be who. So I like that for her, and I guess Heather and the other girls. I'm just obviously Jen and Mary have my.
You got it right.
I did say men too. Have my full attention. So I'm just ready to see what happens next. The next episode looks a little light to me.
Next week. Well, I don't know. Next week seems like it's gonna be Whitney's episode on that the stripper bus or whatever with her and her husband. I'm interested to see a little like Whitney having fun.
She always having fun. She likes to. She is. What's she say? You're a whore. You just slept with Eric. No, just playing. No, she likes to have fun. Like we know she likes to pose.
They're swingers or whatever. Like I'm interested. Whitney is kind of like, you can tell that she's the younger cast member.
I didn't know she was 30.
But like I'm interested to see like her having fun.
When she said 30, I said, oh, she's 30. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I knew she was younger. I didn't know she was 30. I think she was like 35, 36.
I can't tell these women's ages just by their faces. There's so much Botox and movement. Like, I don't know what's happening.
Especially Heather and Jen. But
it's a lot.
We are about to lean out. Jamie, let everyone know where they can find you on social media. It's obviously on the screen, but, go ahead and tell them where they can find you at, child.
Yeah. You can stalk my thirst traps on Instagram at it's Jamie. It's Hyman, not Jamie at 83. And then if you're on Twitter, it's Chulito underscore Hotito. Follow me. Look at the links below. Would love to have y'all. I talk a lot of shit on both platforms either way. So enjoy, engage.
Mm-hmm. Y'all know y'all can find me, child. You can find me at Stupid Wild Test or at the Lean Blog. Until then, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, all things to Lean. And we, of course, we're giving you content from Salt Lake City, from Potomac, and Atlanta, child. So I'm booked and busy over here, and
That's a lot.
it is a lot. But I'm trying to lean in on everything because there's so much going on right now. We get so much TV, and Married to Medicine's coming out soon too. So and Drag Race. So
I'm not ready for that.
I'm about to
Oh
be
God.
right here in this spot for all day, outside of my actual regular job, to be giving content. So, like I said, lead in. We about to lead out, and until then, we will see you all later. Bye.